So, Andrew, you think there should be like enforced monogamy?
I see you, Peter. You're good.
No,
No.
no. You couldn't enforce it.
Well,
It's not. It's
well,
not
like,
enforceable.
how would you change the current situation?
I'd repeal the 19th Amendment so that women could no longer vote. That would be step one, and then yeah, I'm serious. And then step two is I would get rid of no fault divorce.
You and Pearly things would definitely agree on that. All right, let's
We
bring up
do
Peter.
agree on that. We do agree on that.
Yeah, Greg. I guess Andrew is a little upset with you, so he wants to I don't know, debate you. I guess.
Well, to be fair, I did what I said specifically, Greg, is that you're a stupid little bitch who's always talking shit in this fucking chat. I want to know what your problem is, and I want you to come on here and tell me what your fucking problem is. That's what I want, Greg. And you're gay, also. I wanted to throw that out there too. Just I didn't want there to be any confusion about how I feel about you, Greg.
So,
Yeah, it seems like you have very strong feelings against Greg. Was it just because he like talked shit about you a little bit in the chat a few times?
Yeah, he's just always talking fucking shit, and I'm like, I want to know what his problem is. Never has a position, never has a critique of any of my arguments. He's just always talking fucking shit. I want to know what his issue is.
Okay.
so Andrew, Alex like hangs out with Destiny sometimes, and Destiny is like bisexual.
Yeah, he's a fucking
Like,
gross degen. Yeah, I agree.
like, don't you think that's a little like suspect? Like, why is he hanging out with gay people? You know?
Does he hang out with Destiny IRL?
Because I'm gonna catch his bisexuality. It's like a virus, right?
Wait a second, Alex. Are you hanging out with him IRL, bro?
I've hung out with him like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is he tall enough to, reach your spot?
You know what they say? Birds of a feather flock together. Like,
Oh, listen, Andrew's been chatting with Destiny way before I was, so
I don't go
Yeah,
hang out with him
debate
IRL.
one.
I don't hang out with him IRL. I debate with the guy online like I do all degens.
yeah, he's a good dude. I like him.
Like, when are you gonna come out of the closet, Alex?
That's how it works. That's how it works, Dennis. If you have a friend who's bisexual, then you must also be bisexual.
Hey, Chad, can we get some
birds
crowds
of
for
a
Dennis?
feather flock together.
Here's some genius.
Give me some crowds for Dennis. He's based.
Some genius logic right there.
You don't think birds of a feather flock together, Alex? Like, come on.
Yeah, Alex. Do you see woodpeckers hanging out with bluebirds, Alex? No, you don't see woodpeckers hanging out with bluebirds.
Wait, Dennis.
Like-
but if you hung out with me, then wouldn't that make you gay too?
Look, all I'm saying is that if you're around a bad
According to this
influence
theory,
long
you and I
enough,
according to this theory, you and I can never meet up because you might catch the gay.
yeah, I'm staying in Chicago. Like,
Chicago.
Yeah, you're a
far
smart
away.
man. Smart man, Dennis. Genius.
Yeah,
in
you gotta
fact.
watch out for the gay man. It's very
But
contagious.
all I'm saying is that, like, if you're around a bad influence, like, eventually you're gonna get tempted, So I'm just saying, watch out. And you know how
Do you
gays
think
are.
like Destiny is like jerking off dudes in front of me? Like, what do you think we do when we?
I think Destiny would definitely like try to
you
trick
think, like-
you, like
Do
he
you
would
think I'm-
definitely
do you
like
think
try to
I'm
trick
going
you.
over to his house at like 3 a.m. and participating in his bedroom activities? Like, is that what you think?
I don't
Somebody-
want to
hang
know
on.
what you guys
Dennis,
do together.
Somebody
like-
in chat said that's why the channel's called Playing with Fire. Oh, no.
The funny thing is, Dennis actually said something that's pretty sus, which is that you might get tempted. If you're straight, you should not get tempted.
I said if you're around a bad influence long enough, like if you hang out with drug addicts, you're gonna become one, like if you hang out with alcoholics, you're eventually gonna become an alcoholic.
So if I hang out with you, will I become a magician?
Yeah. Did you watch that?
well,
video I
hang on,
sent
hang on.
you?
If you did hang out with him long enough, a magician, don't you think he'd pick up a magic trick or two? Yeah, you would, Alex. Yes, you
No, it's
would.
something I was interested in. Yeah, probably.
I
do
can
like
teach him how to saw women in half and put them back together.
teach that to Andrew. He'll just leave out the second part.
I went out last night and I filmed some like dope videos, so I'm gonna have to release them on my channel.
Nice. Yeah, I did. Okay, Greg. I think people are saying he wants to come on, so I dropped the link. Greg, here's the link.
Yeah, Greg. Come on, Greg.
The funny thing also is like when people like ask me about Andrew, they're like, "Yo, isn't Andrew a dick?" I'm like, you know what? Andrew's like one of the nicest people off camera. Like, and like no one believes me at all. People are like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, no, he's like a really, really nice person. Just he has like split personality disorder where when he's on camera, he puts on this like fucking persona of like a total fucking asshole. But off camera, he's like a really nice guy.
You saw that super chat, Alex?
Someone about going on a date with someone and they got trannied or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I don't know what to say. No, it's rough, I guess. That's why I prefer shorter girls. Less likely to happen.
Alex over here fucking giving away my secrets and shit. Fucking prick.
Sorry about that, buddy. Andrew's horrible off camera. He's even worse.
Yes.
Like, fucking, he calls me at like 4 a.m. just to wake me up, and then I'll be like, "What's up, dude?" He'd be like, "Nothing."
And you
Go
can
back
hear
to
me
sleep.
beating my wife and kids in the background. And they're
Like,
screaming.
I just want to FaceTime you while I beat the shit out of my I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. All right, guys, link is dropped, so yeah, I'll drop it again, I guess. Okay, Pence Principal Greg. Greg, can you please turn on your camera backstage? We had a dick flashing. Okay, I see you. All right, you're good, buddy.
Cool.
All right,
Yo, Andrew, I heard you're talking shit. What's up, my man?
Well, I said you're a bitch, and you're always talking shit in your
Why?
chat. I want to know what your fucking
Yeah,
problem is.
Can we see those receipts that you promised us?
For
Not
what?
the Pence principal. The girls trying to slide in your DMs. We still haven't seen any receipts from you, Andrew.
So, why do I need to provide
Well,
them?
okay, but you said you had receipts.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm going to provide
And
them.
you don't have receipts.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to provide
You
anything.
can't show any receipts of girls trying to get.
I'm
with
not
you, right?
going to. No, it would require doxing. I'm not.
No,
gonna
but
do
you
that.
critique our receipts, and then you can't even show receipts for yourself.
Why do I need to show anything?
Because you said you had receipts.
So you don't think that an online personality like me has women who proposition them? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not. No, I don't.
And the only way that you'll believe that is if I show you receipts that that's true.
Yes, receipts that don't involve you explaining the Pence principle to women. I want to see women.
Yeah, but I explained the Pence principle to all of these women who contact me.
Yeah, but does that
Which
mean
there's
that
not
they're
like an innumerable amount, but there's been a few, yeah.
Does that mean that they're sexually interested in you?
If I'm explaining to them the Pence rule, yeah.
I guess their panties wet, right? That you know the Pence principle up and down.
No, that's me rebuffing them.
So, but how does that show that they're trying to get with you?
Because they will say things before I tell them that I follow the Pence principle.
What kind of things will they send to you or say to you, I guess?
Well, sometimes they're overtly sexual, sometimes not, just flirtatious.
Can you show us any proof of the overly sexual things that they send to you?
I could, but that would literally require me doxing these people.
Why can't you just blur out their face and name?
Well, I could blur out their face and name, but I wasn't
So
prepared.
why don't you just do that?
Shut up and let me finish. I was
will
not.
let you
I was
finish
not.
'cause you're talking
Shut
a lot
up.
of shit.
Shut up.
No,
I was not
no.
prepared to walk on the stream though and have that ready for you.
Well, that's another thing. I didn't know that you had my name in your mouth. I was summoned.
Well, all you
'Cause a lot
do
of
is
people went to my chat.
talk shit.
Yeah, and I can back my shit up.
So let's say for a second, let's just hand it to you and say, there's not a single woman who's ever contacted me to proposition me, not even one time. What are your other criticisms?
That you talk massive shit. You say that I talk massive shit. I think you talk massive shit too.
Okay, what's the criticism?
The criticism is anyone that doesn't believe in Jesus Christ you think is a degenerate.
There we go. So now we're getting to what your actual problem is. So I do think that definitionally they're degenerates. Why wouldn't they be?
So you think everyone that watches Playing with Fire is a degenerate?
No, and everybody that watches with Playing with Fire is not an atheist.
Okay, but what's your criticism with like some of the Playing with Fire fans? Because I hear you call a lot of guys degenerates.
They're definitionally degenerates. I don't have any
How
problem
come?
with them personally
No, I mean, why do you think they're degenerates?
because they don't follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, so they're engaged in sexual sin, which would be degeneracy. Degeneracy just means without morals or no moral justification.
So men that like to engage in casual sex, you consider them degenerates, right?
Yeah, they would definitionally be degenerates. It means without morals. You understand that? That's what degeneracy means.
I understand that. It's just
So repeat it back to me. Repeat it back to me what
I don't have
degeneracy
to
means.
repeat it back to you.
So you don't know what it means, or you can repeat
No, I
it back.
just don't take orders from someone.
Just
that hasn't
repeat
had
it
a
back.
Marlboro sponsorship.
Repeat it back
If
to
you
me.
could showcase to me right now that you're sponsored by, what do you smoke? Marlboros, Newports. What kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, because I'm trying to see if you're actually sponsored by that company, because you smoke a lot of cigarettes, Andrew.
Yes, I like to smoke cigarettes. Why would that be
And
problematic?
how many visits do you take to the doctor per year?
None. I haven't
None?
been to the
Why?
doctor
You're
in
not
years.
concerned about your health at all? You wait, whoa. Okay. We got to rewind. You haven't been to the doctor in years. Why do you not go to the doctor?
What the hell would
He
I need
has
to go?
God protecting him.
Yeah, what would I need to go
God
to the doctor
protect him?
for?
You don't get your test levels checked?
My
No, I'm not even
my
trolling.
what
I'm, like,
levels?
serious. Testosterone levels?
No.
Test is a slang term. So you don't know your own testosterone levels.
Why would I give a shit?
You should give a shit because that has to do with how you feel.
I
Like
feel
you're-
fine. I feel fine. Like, what are you
But how
talking
do you
about?
know that, though, if you haven't gotten tests? You could have heart
How do I
disease
know
and
that
not
I
even
feel
know it.
fine?
Because Jesus Christ has a room for you.
No,
right?
no.
And
Let me ask you this
whatever.
again. You just asked me, how do I know if I feel fine?
Yes, okay.
Who
but I'm
else
saying,
would
like,
know how I feel except me, stupid?
The doctors that
The
check you and
doctors are
treat
going to
you
know
for
how I
diseases.
feel better than I know how I feel, stupid?
Okay, so you don't. Yeah. It's
How
stupid
fucking
because I
dumb
believe
are
in
you,
modern
bro?
medicine,
How
right?
dumb are you?
Apparently, I'm pretty dumb.
Yeah,
since I
apparently
actually
you
visit
are
the
pretty
doctor,
dumb.
right? Yeah, and I don't smoke cancer sticks for a living, right?
This is getting heated fast.
What does that have to
I mean,
do with
it
anything?
sounds like Andrew's a little triggered. I mean, I don't know. I'm
What
chilling, I
what
don't
does
know.
me smoking
Let-
have to
let
do
me
with
ask you this.
anything?
When was the last time you actually went to the doctor? Like, do you even remember that?
I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, maybe?
And what made you not want to come back? Did he like do something that you didn't like? He just
Yeah, he
told
charged
you-
me too much money.
Okay, so you don't have insurance.
You
So you might need
you
better
might
health
not
insurance.
know this, but in the adult world, for people who have jobs, they still have things called copays.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
Wow,
really.
it must be
Is that
insane
crazy? Isn't
copays.
isn't that crazy?
That's insane. I didn't
so
know that.
so
there were
wait, so
copays.
no doctor anywhere charges people with insurance money? You're a fucking genius, bro.
You said that, not me. Those are words from your mouth.
Then
not
why
mine.
would you? Why would you? Your exact words were, "So you have no insurance."
Okay, so you can't.
Your
afford
exact
copay,
words
that's why you
were,
go to-
"So you have no insurance." Yes or no?
Andrew's logic is I can't
Yes
afford
or
$5
no?
for a
Your
copay.
exact words were, "So you have no
those are
insurance."
Not my words. Those
Those
were
were-
not my words. I said,
Okay, so
I
let's
asked
stop.
you,
Let's
can
stop.
you
Hang on,
avoid
Alex.
insurance?
Alex,
Well, hold
let's
up. You like to cut people off. You're
Alex,
like,
let's
Donald Trump.
rewind the video. I'm going to take my time and let's see if he said
We
the
don't need
exact
to rewind.
words. So
I asked
you
if
don't
you
have
had
insurance.
I asked you if you had
No, you made a
insurance.
statement that I
You kinda
didn't.
You kind of just went over. I'm going to assume you don't have insurance. So it seems like you have a high.
Why
paid
would
job
I not have
protector.
insurance?
Hold
What are
on,
you talking
Andrew,
about?
Andrew. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
What
So
the fuck is this
it
idiot
seems-
talking about?
Apparently, I'm an idiot because I
You
go
are
to
an
the
idiot,
doctor
yes.
and get myself. Yeah. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, let's go back. So you have a good
When
paying
you
job.
so when
yes?
you feel
How
fine, do
much
you go
money
to
do you
the
make per year?
when you feel
much money
fine,
do
do
you
you
make
go to
per
the
year?
doctor?
So you're gonna ignore my question.
Yeah,
How
I'm not
much
going to
money do you
answer
make
how
per
much
year?
money I make per
dodging
year.
it.
Okay, so you don't make enough
Dodging it.
money. Got you. He is dodging Dennis. Press him on it. Because he doesn't listen when the stupid mod presses him. So maybe if Dennis.
You know what's funny, Greg? Like you get bitches. He's an incel. Like Andrew hasn't been with a new girl in years.
Yo.
That's inseldom?
Apparently, because you're blue pilled.
You're a simp.
You're only
You
cucked
got
to
your
your
wife
wife,
a
right?
house. Why would you buy a
He
woman
doesn't
a
care
house?
about his
Come
health. His
on.
test levels could be really low right now, and he wouldn't know it. Andrew,
Well,
how
to
old are
be,
you?
to be fair, he's technically not an incel. An incel is someone who doesn't have sex. I'm sure he has sex.
By
with someone.
definition. Okay, Andrew.
Yeah.
So you're what, like 38,
He's
39?
not
How old are
pimping
you?
it though. He's not pimping
Well, I'm
it
trying to
though.
figure out. Okay, so was he? in
I'm
his
trying to
40s,
figure out what
30s?
the
Does
fuck you're
your
even
wife
talking
call the
about.
shots?
We're
Does your
telling you
wife
that you
call
need
the
a wake up
shots?
call.
I mean, it seems like he just chose a different life path. Like he just wants to have like a family and shit. I don't
Okay,
know.
let's just step away from his family life. Let's not bring Christianity into it. Let's just talk about modern medicine.
No, you
Okay,
can talk about
so-
my family life. That's
Andrew,
fine. Let's talk about
well,
your
we'll get-
family
we'll-
life too.
We'll get to. Okay, let's talk about it. What do you
Yeah,
wanna
did
know?
you have a mommy and a daddy?
Yeah, I did actually.
Were you happy
believe it
that
or
they
not.
stayed together for you?
Yeah, I was happy.
Then what's your fucking problem with the relationship of me staying together with my wife or my children?
I have a
Retard.
problem because I don't believe in the Bible. I think the
But
Bible.
you
is a
just
lie.
well
You
you
believe
you're
in the man and the sky.
here's your exact words, stupid. You said, "I'm happy my mommy and daddy stayed together for me."
Did I say that? Or did
Yes,
you say
your exact words were, "Yes, I'm happy
that?
they
So,
stayed
my
together
name
for me."
just magically changed to Andrew from the Crucible. I'm not Greg Lurick. Now I'm Andrew from the Crucible.
I don't
By
even know what you're
definition,
talking
by
about.
Your definition. Of course you don't. Your brain magically shuts off when people present logic and facts. But when they talk about
You
the
haven't presented
Bible,
anything. What are you
your
talking
eyes
about?
light up. Like if I said, "Yo, John 3:16 said this," your eyes would light up.
You just
Okay,
said it.
let's-
Are my eyes lit up?
Okay, so Andrew, okay, you're like I'm just gonna assume you're 40 years old. So
Okay.
after 35, testosterone levels start dropping typically for men.
Yeah, but
So
there's
if you
symptoms
haven't
for
been
that.
to the doctor
There's
in years,
yeah, but there's
you could
symptoms.
have a tumor right now, and
Yeah,
you
but
wouldn't
do you
even
know what
it.
symptoms of things are though? There's symptoms.
Yes, there are symptoms.
Yeah.
So just because you feel fine doesn't mean you're fine.
Yeah, but I mean that could
it's
be the
safe-
case. That could be the case for anybody at any time. Do you go to the doctor every
So-
single day?
No, but I get annual
No.
checkups.
But
I have to
don't
go
you
every
think?
day.
Don't you think you generally would go to the doctor when you're not feeling well? Isn't that usually when people go to the doctor,
Yeah,
bro?
but you have annual checkups like every few months, generally speaking.
Not really. You have them every few years.
If Alex were to poll the audience right now and say how many of you guys actually go to the doctor for general checkups?
Well, yeah, they have STDs because they're degens.
No,
bro.
not STDs. Why are you talking about STDs? I'm talking about just like regular stuff.
Do you go? How many times have you gone to the? Hang on, I'm just curious. How many times have you gone to the doctor for STDs?
Plenty of times.
I'm sure you have plenty of times.
I have.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my test results? I'll send it to you privately after streaming.
No wonder you go to the doctor so much. You're concerned that you're going to get STDs, bro.
I'm not going to get involved too much in your guys' debate, but on this one, Greg does have a point. Annual checkups are a good idea for men to do because you can catch things and prevent them before they even happen. So I think that's
yeah.
No. Hang on. You know who never has to go to the doctor to get checked up on it for STDs? People who are happily married.
Or incels, because technically they're not.
No, Andrew, not for STDs. For things more like your heart function.
Yeah, but that was my question that I asked him: is how many times have you gone for the STDs? And he said plenty of times.
Do you trust your wife?
Yeah.
So you feel like you don't have to get a STD test because you're with your wife?
Yeah.
What if you one day found out your wife wasn't loyal to you? How would you react?
Not
I'm
well.
just saying if.
Not good.
Would you get mad at her or the guy if you found out who the guy was?
I would be angry with her.
Okay, gotcha. So you're fairly confident that your wife isn't cheating on you?
It's not.
He's a happy Christian man, right?
It's not fairly confident. I'm 100% confident.
Okay.
Did you marry a virgin, Andrew?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
She didn't marry a virgin either.
But it still worked out?
Yeah, it's worked out fine.
What were your guys' body counts?
I'm not getting into all that, dude. They weren't high.
Why are you dodging it, huh? Why are you dodging the question?
He does dodge a lot of questions.
That's not your concern. Why would that be a concern for you? I'm curious about this.
Let's do some quick maths. Andrew, do you know how many cigarettes you smoke per day? Just give me a rough estimate.
I don't know, pack.
A whole pack. How many do you smoke a week?
Well, let's see. If it's 7 days a week, you're
20
doing 20 at 7.
So you times that by year, you're smoking a lot of cancer sticks. Do you think that has no impact at all on your health?
I think it has a disproportionate effect for different people depending on their physiology, how much they exercise, how sedentary they are.
Okay,
in my opinion, I think you should switch over to weed because weed is like all natural, as opposed to cigarettes are man-made with hundreds of sketchy chemicals. So you should just stick to the plant God made, which is marijuana.
Now, Greg, I'm just curious. What's your body count?
145 as of this moment.
And do you have receipts?
I do have receipts, actually. I have an OnlyFans as well. Do you want to check out
Let's
my
see the
OnlyFans?
receipts.
Crawl Sexy Hung 69.
It actually does answer, believe it or
I
not.
do. I have pornos, degenerate pornos of a
course
Jewish
you do.
man, in that. Yeah, a true degenerate.
Did you say a Jewish man?
Yeah, I'm a Jewish man.
Why does that? Can you say oy vey for me?
I cannot. I say goyim.
I'm sure you do.
Talk about
Wait, Andrew. Okay, Andrew. How about this? Can you showcase one receipt before your wife? Just one. We're asking.
Yeah,
for
I'm not
just
going to
one
do that.
receipt. So you can't showcase one receipt
For what?
of you being with a woman before your wife.
Can I
We know she
Can I
wasn't the one
showcase
and
a receipt? No, I can't.
Yeah. So you can't. You have no receipts other than your wife.
No. Well, I mean, no. I don't keep correspondence between women that I was with 18 years ago.
Okay, so that's the last time you were with another woman was 18 years ago.
Yeah, I've been married for a long time, bro.
Okay, well, I don't know. I just see you occasionally come into Alex's streams. I don't know your whole biography.
Well, I just
and
told
shit.
you. Do you have receipts from 18 years ago?
I do. Well, actually, no. 18 years ago, no. But I have receipts from
Right?
9 years
No,
ago.
no.
Well, that's when I lost my virginity. 18. I'm 27, so I have
Right.
receipts from 9 years
So
ago.
you don't
yeah.
have, you don't have
From
receipts
9.
from
Yeah,
X amount of
sorry.
time ago.
I mean, I have receipts from me getting my dick sucked at 16. If that makes you feel any better, but
Gross.
I'm sure. Well, it
Well,
is. You're speaking to live degenerates on playing with
Let's
fire.
talk
It's kinda
about,
Why?
like, 18
So
and
what
up,
is that?
Greg.
What does that do for you? Being a Jewish
What?
degenerate. What does that do for you?
It's fucking amazing. And then you should meet my best friend, Pastor Aiden. I have good conversations with him about being a Jewish degenerate.
And how does that go? How does being a
Pretty
Jewish degenerate
crazy because Pastor Aiden's a wild card. I don't think you've been exposed to him yet. Alex has.
go? So let me.
Yeah, it was
So,
quite the experience.
so let me ask you.
Yeah,
so let me ask you a
Let's
question.
explore my
You're-
degeneracy.
So
Mhm.
essentially, you're upset with me because I think that degenerate, meaning campground morality, has no morals, applies to people who have no morals. That's what you're upset about.
No, not quite. I'm actually well, I'm technically not upset. I was more confused why you randomly brought me up.
Do you
After all
under?
this time.
Yeah. So do you under? Because I want to know why you're always spurging at me in your chat. Do you understand why that distinction is made between people who can ground their morals and those who can't? Do you know why that's done?
No, I know morals. I just think that.
Well,
our
then tell me
definition of
what your moral.
morals
Oh,
is subjective.
okay. Well, then ground.
My
your,
morals personally or morals in general?
yeah. No. Just ground your morals.
Judaism.
Ground your
No,
morals.
My morals are not just Judaism. I think. Okay, so this is where we differ, right? So you believe that a man can only. Okay, wait, Dennis. Okay, that door just distracted.
Wait, guys,
Do you
1
mean-
second. There's
Yeah.
there's one guy backstage. He said he only has 5 minutes before he has to go back to work, and he just wants to make 3
Yeah.
points.
We'll pause that. I'll be here.
Yeah. Let's just bring this guy on real quick. What's up?
Hey guys, hey Alex, thanks for having me on. I just have 3 points for Andrew why abstaining from sex is BS.
Okay.
Sex outside of marriage. Okay, so number 1, so that implies that denying yourself pleasure makes you a good person. Makes about as much sense as like there's a Catholic sect that walks through the streets flogging themselves once a year. That's because that supposedly makes them a good person. Most people don't agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
number
Hang
one.
on. Can we kind of take these one point at a time?
I have to make them real quick, and then I'll listen to your response off the air. So the
Okay, well, I gotta write them down,
that's
I
a
guess.
logical argument. That's a logical argument.
Mhm.
Now I have an emotional argument. So knowing that women are more emotional and more impulsive than men are,
Mhm.
and they like sex as much as men do, and it's much easier for them to get sex. How would you feel knowing that all the women are having wild casual sex, and but you abstain from sex thinking it made you a good person, but all the women are having wild casual sex and you're the only one left out? So that's an emotional argument,
Okay.
right? Most guys wouldn't feel too good about that. And then the pragmatic argument and the hypocrisy argument is, if you watch porn, if you abstain from sex, watch porn and jack off, that's just as much a sex act as everything else. So you're not abstaining from sex if you've ever jacked off in your entire life. And not only that, and here's another hypocrisy argument. If say you meet the woman of your dreams, she checks all the boxes. She's amazing, smart, funny, good person, and she likes you as much as you like her, but she wanted to have sex on the first date. Would you say no?
Yeah.
So most guys are lying to themselves if they would say no. And if they did say no, they'd probably regret it later. She'd be like, I'm not interested anymore. I think you're playing games. You don't want to have sex. So those are my 3 points. And I dare you to refute all 3. All
Yeah,
right.
I wish we could have
Thanks
gone
for having
through.
me on. I gotta go.
I wish we could have gone through all 3 of them one at a time. What was the first
Yeah,
point?
yeah. Go through. I'll listen to you.
Just give me the consolidated version real quick, so I can write it down.
I got it. Okay. Consolidated version is okay.
So I got the
abstain-
jerking off. I got the jerking off is the same as sex. Okay, got that one. What else?
Okay. Denying yourself pleasure makes you a good person. That's illogical. And then if you found out that all the women were having wild casual sex and you were not, you wouldn't feel too good about that. That's an emotional argument.
Okay, and then if you found
All
out women were having sex and you weren't involved, you would feel bad?
Yeah, most guys wouldn't be too happy. They find out the girl of their dreams had lots of wild casual sex, and you missed out, but you didn't. Right? That's an
Okay.
emotional argument. That's
Got it.
why guys worried about the body counts.
Yeah, I got it. I understand.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks.
I need to take care. All right, so you want to answer these?
Yeah, so the first thing is he says denying yourself pleasure makes you a good person is illogical. That's actually not an illogical statement because there's no contradiction. But from the perspective of the argument sense, nobody says that denying yourself pleasure makes you a good person. That's not the Christian worldview. The Christian worldview is that you are maintaining your abstinence for the purposes of purity. And that purity is the value that we're after here. That's a much better value than promiscuity. So this would fall under what's virtuous and what isn't virtuous. And then we could argue from the premise of what's virtuous. And then if you found out women were having sex but you weren't, that would make you feel bad. Okay, well, that's like an argument to if you found out people who were around you were millionaires and you weren't, it would make you feel bad. Does that mean that they should have to give you their money, right? But it has, again, nothing to do with virtue. It's not really an argument. It's a non-argument. Whether or not they would feel bad about it or not is completely irrelevant to the point. So we're talking about what's virtuous and what isn't virtuous. And this is the difference between having grounding for your ethics and not having any grounding for it. So if you want to bring that other guy on now so that we can get back into this, because I want to know what his moral system is.
Yeah, he said he needs 5 minutes. He's doing something. This is actually a very interesting super chat. I want to ask you, Alex. Ask Andrew if he believes in UFOs and how that fits in with his religion.
I don't. Well, I mean, I believe in unidentified aerial phenomenon for sure. I've seen some of that myself, but as far as like aliens and shit like that, no.
What if you were shown irrefutable proof that there are aliens out there? Would that fuck with your like religious perspective at all, or would you reconcile that?
Well, it would be that's like you're likening this to asking me like, what if you were shown irrefutable proof within a hypothetical that God wasn't real? Would that fuck with your religion? Well, yeah, yeah. If somehow you could demonstrate with irrefutable proof that there was no God, would that mess with my head? Yeah, of course it would. So the thing is like it's but remember, it's baked into the hypothetical, the question that you're asking. It's baked into the hypothetical. It's like asking, if you were dead, would you be alive anymore? It's like, no. Right?
I
No.
don't see how they're mutually exclusive. You could have aliens and a god, right? Like, why are they mutually exclusive?
You could, right? But you asking in the hypothetical, would that fuck with my religion?
Okay. It would cause you to question things.
Yes.
Basically. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we'll bring on one more person before Greg, because I guess he needs time to do some shit. So let's bring on this dude. Okay. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. What's going on?
So I got a question for you guys. What do
Okay.
you think? I mean, I've seen your channel a little bit. What do you think the most important attributes? All right, let's put it like this. If you had a son, I don't know if you have kids, Andrew. I don't think you do, Alex, or that you know of, right?
I have
what do you
5.
Think the most? Oh, damn, you got 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, congratulations. What do you think the most
Thanks.
important attribute? I mean that.
No, I
is-
appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What do you think the most important attribute, and for Alex, would be if you had kids, to teach your son turning 18, so to speak? What I'm getting at is the most important virtue you think that you would bestow upon a young man.
So I mean, there would be any self-responsibility. I think, extreme ownership.
I don't consider
say-
those to be virtues.
Why?
No, because they don't fall under the purview of virtues. So for a virtue, for instance, would be something like temperance. I think temperance would be extremely important. So if I was if you were to say pick one virtue out of a list, now Alex, you can call whatever you want a virtue. I'm just saying I disagree with the concept that those are virtuous. Self-ownership's not a virtue. Why would that be virtuous? What's virtuous about self-ownership?
Because you take responsibility for everything in your life instead of blaming it on other people.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could fall under what I would consider a virtue if you explain it that way. So I think that that's fair. But I would say temperance.
Discipline.
I'd say temperance. Temperance is the most important. So being even keeled and emotionally stable, I think that that's the most important thing to teach a man on his way out the door. If they fail at everything else on planet Earth, I think that temperance is the one.
Okay.
I would say discipline and delayed gratification.
That's temperance, though. That would fall under the purview of temperance.
Okay.
Discipline?
Yeah, discipline. So that would be self-discipline. So you wouldn't be able to have temperance without self-discipline.
Yeah, you're right.
So would it be fair to say that most men today, young men, whatever, any men, are missing that?
Yeah, it's one of the key problems. It's one of the reasons I advocate for religion. Is because religion will go over these. So somebody in the chat actually helpfully posted the virtues: humility, charity, chastity, gratitude, temperance, patience, and diligence. I think that temperance is a requirement to have any of the other ones. So I would say now, there's obviously you could argue it kind of either way, but I think that temperance requires patience, and I think temperance requires a bit of gratitude and maybe not charity, but maybe charitability towards people. Maybe not charity in the conventional sense of like you're handing out money or goods, but at least being charitable towards the people you're talking to. Like you came on the call, you're not hostile, you just want to talk. So I'm going to be as charitable as I can be, right? But I think that temperance is a big one. If I had to like label anything as the most important, if I was at gunpoint and they said, Andrew, you have to do it right now, that's the one I would pick.
Yeah, I'll look up. There's two definitions, but the second one, the quality of moderation or self-restraint, yeah, I do think that's important. The first definition is abstinence from alcoholic drink, but I'm assuming that's not what.
Well, there's also religious definitions. Remember that. That the dictionary definition, just like a legal definition or a medical definition, is going to be different than a religious definition.
So, what's your definition of temperance?
Well, I think that temperance, if I was going to condense it the best way I possibly could, in kind of a layman's term, would be even keeled and emotional coolness. So it doesn't mean that you have a lack of emotion or things like this, but you know how to control them, moderate
emotional
them,
discipline,
and act upon them without being too terrified to act. So I think that would be the best way that I would describe as like even keeled.
Yeah, so emotional mastery.
Yeah, emotional mastery is a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Funny enough, that's a big part of what pickup teaches as a side note. Yeah, go ahead, Base.
Yeah, sorry. Are you fully on board with that, Alex? I'm just asking. It's not a loaded question.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's like my number one, but it'll probably be top three. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So follow up to that, because I do agree with you. I might have phrased it differently just because I'm coming from a different place, but I think I align with what you're saying. So how do you think the best way to impact society with that is? And I'm not asking you to do it. I'm just talking kind of high level here.
Like from a perspective, yeah. So you're talking from a prescriptive level. What's the best way to do it? Best way to do it is to demand that men take responsibility. Right. So that they have more responsibility, and and that I think that that's a huge problem. You know what I mean? What we have now is a shift of responsibility. Women don't even take their share of responsibility, right? But men often run from it. They often run from it. So it's problematic.
You will acknowledge that you can be very responsible and not be religious, right?
You can be, yes.
So isn't it kind of ironic now what's going on that you were hinting at, that you were getting at, that society is running at a level, men and women are equal, we're the same. But as you just pointed out, men have a higher level of responsibility innately, biologically.
In some senses.
Religious.
Yeah,
in
some senses.
I'm not saying in every single aspect.
Yeah. So egalitarianism is fake. It's literally it's a faux proposition, right? There's no such thing as egalitarianism and equality. That's just made up bullshit.
Right. But what I'm getting at is that in that happening, that what we have is men not actually taking the responsibility and to some degree, right, on some levels, and saying to women, well, here you go, this is what you wanted, and they're kind of like, bullshit, I don't want this, I just want the good stuff that comes with it.
Right. That's feminism.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's feminism. So what I mean by when men aren't taking responsibility, what I mean by this is I think that men have been checking out of society based on women's behavior more and more and more. And that's what I see inside of like these communities when I talk to you guys, is that there's a great checkout which is happening. They're like, look, these bitches can't behave. They're acting like fucking skanks. They're doing all sorts of shit. They're lying. They're backbiters. They're cheating. They're doing all this shit they're not supposed to be doing. And so they actually check out. They just like check out of the system altogether. That's part of that men going your own way, kind of the MGTOW thing, is when they're kind of remove themselves away from the system. Maybe they just buy a prostitute every once in a while. They play video games with their friends and they try to enjoy their life. I think, though, that that's kind of abandoning all of your virtues, which is I think that you should get married. I think you should have children. I think you ought to do those things, not just because they're commanded by God, but because I think it gives you a more whole life, even if you don't believe in God. I still think it's optimal for men to do this.
There's different levels of checking out. So the most extreme level of checking out would be when you go like full MGTOW, where you just like you don't do anything romantic or sexual with women. That's pretty rare in this community. It's not common. A more common is a partial checkout, where guys are like, "Yo, I'm not gonna date these girls. I'll just have sex with them." That's like a part. That's what you see happening. In
I think that's true. Yeah, I think that that's correct. But the thing is that I see people going to more and more extreme modes as the relationship dynamics in the West break down, and the birth rates are a reflection of the relationship dynamics breaking down. Women want to have families less and less and pursue careers more and more. And men don't want to date men. They want to date women. They want to have sex with women. They want to marry women, right? They don't want some career chick.
There's so many women out there, though, still that want to have a family. I feel like, yeah, okay, maybe a little bit more.
The pickings are slim, and the big problem is that they want to start families later and later in life, right? So they want to wait until they're all done with their careers in the cock carousel, then they want to start their family. That's a big problem.
They want to eat their cake and have it too.
Yep, that's right. They want to have their cake and eat it too.
The men that they want generally don't want them at that point.
That's also correct. They don't. They generally don't want them. If there's something that's younger and with less baggage, and they're both available, they'll go for the thing that's younger with less baggage pretty much every time.
Right.
And I don't blame them. Like, I don't blame them for doing that, right? None of this is contrary to Christianity, by the way.
Just to be clear, there's a huge percentage of guys who will just like take whatever they can get. You know?
Well, they'll have sex with whatever they can get. That doesn't mean they're going to settle down with it.
They'll actually date whatever they can get.
So there's some men who will do that. Yes.
And there's some men that used to do that.
There's probably 4 different categories, like people that do nothing, people that retreat, like, oh, like I got divorced, I'm staying away from women, people that take like average action, and then like people that are like Alex and like go full time, you know, and just get to hundreds of lays.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to find a girl who's, well, okay, let me rephrase that. It's not impossible to find a girl who's great, who's awesome, who's not high body count, who's loving, caring, and blah, blah. All that exists. I think there's a disconnect between guys and girls because back in the day, you used to meet girls through I don't know, work or through your friends, and that's becoming less and less common. So there's a disconnect that's going on. But those girls do exist if you know how to look and where to look.
Yeah.
What
do you have any more like tangible stuff? Like, what do you mean by like take responsibility? Like, get a job? Like, what do you mean?
Who are you asking?
Andrew.
As far as responsibility goes, so I think that men are the inheritors and crafters of all of society. They're the crafters of rules, and they're the protectors of rights, even of other men. And I think that many of them shirk their responsibility inside of that domain because they have no higher value or higher calling to go towards at all.
Now, wouldn't you agree that it's men? I mean, and I don't mean specific men, although there is specific men that put us in this position to begin with. Feminism, women voting, all the things, all the different facets that have led to modern day.
It was mostly technology, honestly.
Right, but where did that come from? Right, and I'm not trying to say, oh, men are bad. Obviously, I'm a man. I'm saying that at the end of the day, I look at that as responsibility that we put ourselves here. And sure, technology, I agree with you, but I don't want to just scapegoat it to like, oh well, it landed in our laps. No, we created that shit.
Well, there's no point in like beating yourself about the why. It's just a matter
Well,
of
no,
about
yeah,
it. There's
yeah,
like,
no, I agree with you.
it doesn't matter how we got where we got.
No,
I
it
mean, it could make an
matters.
interesting-
It matters why or how we got where we're at. If you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it, right? And so
That's true.
the
Right, but if you're, yeah, sure, if you're in a position of power, but if you're just like your average dude, who's not,
no,
like, affected-
no, all men are in a position of power, whether they know it or not. They're in a position to take power. They're in a position to seize control of their families, of their lives, things like this. They are in positions to do this. Women uniquely are not in positions to do this, except at the allowance of men. They uniquely cannot
Right.
do this without men. Men are the grounding and foundation for women's rights, their equality, their everything. They get everything from us. So we've always had a unique autonomy and authority to do this. Women, though, they're the gatekeeper of who gets to reproduce. So men tend to compete with each other over who gets to reproduce with which woman. So they try to go for the hottest woman that they can, the most beautiful woman that they can, or the highest status woman that they can get, which usually has those attributes. Right. So this is the age-old battle of the sexes. But the thing is one of the things that religion promotes, right, is these type of behavioral patterns that the Degens would consider to be optimal in women. Okay. That's what religion is promoting. Even the things that you guys would see as optimal traits, religion's going to promote those optimal traits in women.
Okay, Andrew, let's say you're the average guy, has an average job, living in a state that's always goes one way, either Republican or Democratic state, not a swing state. What power do you have to change
That's
the system?
the wrong way to look at power. Power dynamics don't just work on a level of I vote, so therefore I have power. Power dynamics work in localizations more than they do anything. You have men who lead other packs of men. You have men who are leaders at work. You have men who rise above the fray, things like this. They have extraordinary community power, regardless of who goes and votes on national issues or even who votes on localized issues. Those are the men who craft the legislation you're voting on to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there's a small percentage of men who will have the majority of the power. And there's some men who have a little bit of power.
But hang
in a
on.
very local setting.
When you say small, it's not that small, right? If you go to any work environment on planet Earth, you're going to see certain men who rise above the other ones, right? There's tons and tons of factories and small job centers, things like this that people work at all the time. So you're talking about tens and hundreds of thousands of men who are in these unique leadership roles. So when it's kind of easy to marginalize it and say, like, look, there's very few of these men. There's not. There's actually quite a few of them, far more than you think.
Yeah, they might have influence on their like local team, whatever that they're involved in, or maybe even on the company as a whole. But they're not going to be the ones who are making decisions about what product we're going to manufacture, what kind of advertising we're going to do. That's a very small percentage.
They do, especially if they collectivize. When they collectivize, they do have the power to determine those things on a local level, which gives them significant power even nationally. And these collectives often coordinate with other collectives who share their similar ideology, and that's how you end up with trends. That's how you end up with all sorts of different legislation, which ends up moving forward, and different parties getting formed, and localized parties getting formed, and unions, and all of this is through the organization of extraordinary men, and then less extraordinary but still extraordinary men who follow them.
Andrew, so are you pro union then?
Depends. Sometimes I'm pro-union. It depends on what type of union you're talking about.
Let's just take like Starbucks union or
no,
Amazon union.
No, corporate unionization is more exploitative to the employee than it is helpful to the employee.
Well, I'm kind of confused because you're talking about how like these men have a power through collectivization and union. But if you're anti-union, how does that?
Union doesn't have to be an organization which is specific to work. Yeah. I'm saying they can unionize over any number of different issues. When all I mean by unionize is collectivize. That's it. I don't mean they can join a fucking work union, though they could, and that could be a way in which they could affect local policy, and it's happened that way before. But they can unionize in any number of different ways. Sometimes they have clubs, right? You have different clubs that form around different interests. You maybe have sports leagues which form around different interests, and then they begin to move towards political action. There's all sorts of different ways that men collectivize.
Yeah, I think we just radically disagree on this. I think power is in the hands of a few, and some people have a small amount of power, a sliver of power. Like you and I have a little bit of power. You have the power to affect your audience. I have the power to affect my audience. But in the grand scheme of things, our power level is like 0.00000.
Well, what do you think power is?
Ability to change the course of history, change people's opinions.
Well, that's a really. So one of those is a really high bar, the ability to change history, and one of them's a really low bar, which is the ability to change minds. So if it's just the ability to change minds, surely you have a significant amount of power.
Yeah.
In terms of my audience, yes, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, like for example, let's say that I think that I don't know that Biden is the worst thing ever, and my biggest goal in life is to keep Biden from being elected. I have close to zero power in that regards, right? Like my audience doesn't really look to me for voting, and even if they did, it's very limited compared to the whole, the amount of people who vote, right? So yeah, like even when it comes to that, I have some influence, but the influence, I'm cognizant of the fact that influence is very limited. Now, someone like Joe Rogan has a lot more influence. He has a lot more power.
Well, I don't understand. Did lightning strike these people so they had this power, or did they work towards a worthy goal and move towards that over time?
Yeah,
but that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by responsibility. Stop, Alex. What I mean by this is what I said. It's literally the moving towards a worthy goal through some sort of collectivization. Lightning didn't strike them. They worked towards this goal. That's part of responsibility.
Yeah, all that is great. I'm just saying for every Joe Rogan, there's 20,000 people that you've never heard of.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they have no power. They might exercise quiet power, quiet authority. I mean, there's people.
There's a point in time they probably have close to zero power.
No, I don't think so. I think that if you look at sometimes producers and things like this, oftentimes they're not well known in the public eye, but they move things behind the scenes in a major way.
Yeah, producers are a tiny percentage of people involved.
Alex, how much influence would you have to have?
I'm not talking about Hollywood producers, Alex. I'm talking about people who produce products.
Like what, manufacturers? Like
yes, producers, people who make stuff people want. They can affect massively. They can affect local policies with money, right? Or with jobs, or with zoning regulations, or with any number of different things. There's all sorts of people who are producers of things which have an enormous amount of power who are not known in the public eye.
Right, sure, you're right about that. So that means the CEO, the CFO, maybe the marketing director, they do have a lot of influence.
And the small business owner.
A lot of things.
Yeah, and the small business owner.
All the people who are like the employees of those, they don't really have much influence at all, unless they unionize, and then in which case they might have some level of power and they can bargain with the boss.
They have a different set value of power, which is that if they have families and things like this, they're creating the mindset for the entire next generation. So that's the thing, is that that's a huge amount of power to give a man, that if you have multiple children, you can affect their mindset for how they live their lives in the next generation. You can affect significant change, especially if you can collectively change enough men's minds to teach their children the same value structure.